हेलो फ्रेंड्स। आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं सीपीसी के बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक प्लेंट, प्लीडिंग एंड डब्ल्यूएस। डब्ल्यूएस मीन रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट। ये तीनों बेस हैं सीपीसी के। इन्हें अगर आप ध्यान से पढ़ लेंगे तो आपके लिए ड्राफ्टिंग जो आपके 9th सेमेस्टर में आने वाला है वो भी आपके लिए सिंपल हो जाएगा। एंड आपको ड्राफ्टिंग में कोई भी किसी भी क्वेश्चन में प्रॉब्लम हो, किसी भी टॉपिक में प्रॉब्लम हो, नोट्स चाहिए, कुछ चाहिए, यू कैन मेंशन द कमेंट। आपको उस चीज के वीडियो नोट सब मिल जाएगा। ओके, आइए हम पढ़ते हैं। सबसे पहले प्लेंट। अगर हमारे पास क्वेश्चन आता है पेपर में, व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ अ प्लेंट, सो हमें प्लेंट बताना पड़ेगा कि पहले क्या है, देन आप उस स्ट्रक्चर पे आएंगे। सो प्लीज कभी भी स्टार्ट मत कीजिएगा कि स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ प्लेंट से स्टार्ट किया सीधा स्ट्रक्चर पे आ गया और अपना क्वेश्चन एंड कर दिया। नो, यू हैव टू गिव एन आंसर इन ब्रीफ। आपको पूरा ब्रीफ में आंसर देना पड़ेगा। मैंने इसको बिल्कुल एक आंसर के फॉर्मेट में लिखा है, जैसे आपको बिल्कुल क्वेश्चन लिखना है। क्वेश्चन आया आपके पेपर में तो आप ये लिखिए, आपको आपके 15 में से 15 मार्क्स आपको इस क्वेश्चन के मिलेंगे। आइए सबसे पहले हम पढ़ते हैं कि स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ प्लेंट, दैट व्हाट इज द बेसिकली व्हाट इज प्लेंट। A plaint is a legal document which contains the written statement of plaintiff claim. A plaint is the first step towards the initiation of a suit. Plaint is defined in order 7 of CPC. आप इस बात को सबसे ज्यादा ध्यान पहले रखिएगा कि जो प्लेंट है वो ऑर्डर 7 में डिफाइन है। However, plaint has not been defined in the code. डिफाइन नहीं है, बट जो प्लेंट है वो किसमें दे रखा है, ऑर्डर 7 में। डिफाइन कहीं भी नहीं है सीपीसी के अंदर। इट इज द प्लीडिंग ऑफ द प्लेंट। इट ऑल्सो कंटेन्स 18 रूल्स। एक ऑर्डर ऑर्डर 7 के अंडर 18 रूल्स हैं। इसके अंदर आप हमेशा ध्यान रखिए, सेक्शन होते हैं, ऑर्डर होते हैं, रूल्स होते हैं। जो ऑर्डर 7 है उसके अंदर 18 रूल्स हैं। इन प्लेंट द प्लेंटिफ शुड allege fact about his cause of action. A plaint which is presented to a civil court of appropriate jurisdiction contains everything, including facts to relief that the plaintiff expects to obtain. And what are the objects of the plaint? The object of a plaint is to acquaint the court and the opposite party with the cause of the plaintiff. The provision of the Order 7 as to pleading generally is also applicable in the case of plaint. As the plaint is divided into three parts, the first one is heading and title, the second one is the body of the plaint, and the third one is relief claimed. हमारी जो हम प्लेंट बनाते हैं वो 3 पार्ट में होता है, हेडिंग एंड टाइटल, कि हाँ ये केस किस कोर्ट में गया है, किसके अंडर है, क्या पार्टीज हैं, इन सब में। एंड द बॉडी की हम प्लेंट क्यों फाइल कर रहे हैं, हमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है, हमारी प्लेंट क्या कहना चाह रही है। एंड द रिलीफ, कि हम हमारी प्लेंट में हमने जो डिमांड करी है, हम क्या रिलीफ चाहते हैं कोर्ट से, कि कोर्ट हमारे फेवर में जुडिक्शन दे तो क्या दे। Then what do we mean by the heading and title includes? Heading and title includes name of the court. The name of the court should be written on the plaint as the heading. As the second is the parties of a suit. There must be two parties, the plaintiff and the defendant. Plaintiff वो होता है जो केस फाइल करता है, डिफेंडेंट वो होता है जिसके अगेंस्ट प्लेंटिफ फाइल करता है। The third one is title of the suit. The title of the suit contain the reason for approaching the court and the jurisdiction before which the plaint is initiated. Now the second part is the body of the plaint. That is, the first one is the formal part, a statement regarding the date of cause of action. It is necessary for every plaint to contain the date when the cause of action arose. The primary objective behind this is to determine the period of limitation. The second one is the sustainable portion. Plaint must contain all the necessary and vital facts which constitutes the suit. The third part of the plaint is the signature and the verification. The signature of the plaintiff put at the end of the plaint. In case the plaintiff is not present due to the litigation reason, legitimate reason, then the signature of an authorized representative would suffice. The verification can only be done before a competent court or in the form of an oath commissioner. Section 26 of the CPC provides that every suit shall be instituted by the presentation of the plaintiff or in such order manner as may be prescribed. In every plaint, facts shall be proved by the affidavit. A plaint is important in the sense that it is the first and foremost step toward instituting the suit. Therefore, due care has been taken to ensure that the procedure required for the initiation of the plaint has been duly recognized, that for the initiation of a plaint has been duly assigned. It contains the rule 1 talks about it contains the particulars, the name of the court in which the suit is brought, the relief name and the plaintiff claim, the facts showing that the court has jurisdiction, and many more. Basically, it contains the particulars that the plaintiff should have. The second rule is of Order 7 that the plaintiff seeks the recovery of money. The plaintiff shall state the precise amount claimed, but where the plaintiff sues for say profit. Rule 3 of Order 7, the subject matter of the suit is immovable property. The plaint shall contain a descriptive of the property sufficient to identify it. Rule 4 of Order 7, the plaintiff sues in a competitive representative character. The plaintiff shall show not only that he has an actual existing interest in all the subject matter. Rule 5 of Order 7, the plaintiff show that the defendant claims to be interested in the subject matter and that he is liable to be called upon to answer the plaintiff demand. The next one is Rule 6 of Order 7. The suit is instituted after the expiration of the prescribed period by the law of limitation. The plaintiff shall show the ground upon which exception from such law is claimed. Rule 7 of Order 7 talks about that every plaintiff shall state specifically the relief which the plaintiff claims either simply or in alternative. Rule 8 of Order 7, the plaintiff seeks relief in respect of several distinct claims founded upon separate and distinct grounds. Rule 9 of Order 7 talks about a plaintiff shall be presented in the court or such office as it appoints it this behalf. The plaintiff shall endorse on the plaint a list of the document which he has produced along with it plaint is admitted. Section 10 of Order 7 talks about the return of the plaint. The subject of the provision of Order 7, the Rule 10A of the CPC, the plaint shall at any stage of the suit be returned to be presented to the court in which the suit should have been instituted. Rule 11 of Order 7 talks about the rejection of the plaint. A plaint whose plaint has been rejected may present a fresh plaint in respect of the same cause of action under Rule 13. Rule 12 of Order 7 talks about the procedure on rejecting the plaint. A plaint is rejected by the judge shall record an order that effect with the reason for such order. Rule 13 of Order 7 talks about where rejection of plaint does not preclude presentation of fresh plaint. The rejection of the plaint of any of the ground as in before mentioned shall not of its own force preclude the plaintiff from presenting a fresh plaint in respect of the same clause of action. And the section 14 to 7 rule 14 to rule 17 of order 7 talks about the document relied on in plaint. Rule 14 of order 7 talks about the production of documents on which plaintiff sues. A document which ought to be produced in court by the plaintiff when the plaint is presented. Rule 16 of Order 7 talks about a suit on lost negotiable instrument. The suit is founded upon the negotiable instrument and it is proved that the instrument is lost and an indemnity is given by the plaintiff. Rule 17 of Order 7 talks about the production of bookshop. The plaintiff should produce the book at the time of filing the plaint, together with a copy of the entry in which he relies. Continuation with the topic. Now we are going to study that what do we mean by the word pleading and कि प्लीडिंग क्या होती है, सीपीसी में इसका मीनिंग क्या है, क्या कौन से ऑर्डर में आता है, क्या रूल्स है, इसके हम वो पढ़ने वाले हैं. सो इफ अगर हमारा पेपर में क्वेश्चन आता है कि व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय द अमेंडमेंट ऑफ प्लीडिंग, कि हमें कभी डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट नहीं करना कि अमेंडमेंट ऑफ प्लीडिंग कब आई थी, कौन सेक्शंस में डील करती है, क्या हमें पहले बताने की प्लीडिंग से हम क्या समझते हैं, प्लीडिंग के केस लॉज बताने हैं, प्लीडिंग का मतलब हमें बताना है बेसिकली, देन हम स्टार्ट करेंगे हमारे अमेंडमेंट ऑफ प्लीडिंग से. तो ये मेरे जो क्वेश्चन मेरे आपको भी नोट्स दिखा रही हूँ मैं अपने पर्सनल नोट्स से, अगर आप मैंने इसको क्वेश्चन के फॉर्मेट में डाला, अगर आपके पास क्वेश्चन आता है कि अमेंडमेंट ऑफ प्लीडिंग क्या है, तो आपको कैसे स्टार्ट करना है, क्वेश्चन कैसे फ्रेम करते हैं आंसर्स, ये सब आपको पता चल जाएगा. सो वी स्टार्ट. द टर्म प्लीड मीन्स टू रिक्वेस्ट फॉर समथिंग in a polite and humble manner. Such request can be in written or oral. Pleading means, हमने क्या पहले बताया कि plead का मतलब. Now we come to the pleading, कि pleading का क्या मतलब है. Pleading means plaint or written statement. Order 6 defines pleading and it contains 18 rules. Plaint. Plaint is a document submitted by the plaintiff, that is, the aggrieved party states the fact and the continue the proceeding. Written statement is a reply to the plaint when in the defendant, that is, the opposing party against whom claims are being made by the plaintiff. हमने पहले बताया कि हमारी प्लीडिंग क्या होती है. प्लीडिंग है कि वो उसका मतलब प्लेंट भी हो सकता है, रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट भी हो सकता है. तो हम दोनों को बताएंगे कि प्लेंट क्या होता है, रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट क्या. आप देख सकते हैं कैसे हमें फ्रेम करना है अपना आंसर, कैसे हमारे जो भी एग्जामिनर है, जो भी हमारा पेपर चेक कर रहा है, हमारे मार्क्स डिडक्ट ना कर पाए, हमें एक फॉर्मेट में जाना है आंसर के. ठीक है, हमें पता चल गया कि हाँ ये ऑर्डर 6 में आता है. प्लीडिंग का मतलब क्या है, प्लीड का मतलब क्या है, प्लेंट क्या वर्ड यूज में, प्लेंट और रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट इसके दोनों का मतलब क्या है. तो हमें बेसिकली इस फॉर्मेट में आंसर अपना फ्रेम करना है. ओके, हम इसके साथ एक केस लॉ दे रखा है हमने, देवकी नंदन वर्सेस मुरलीधर AIR 1957 सुप्रीम कोर्ट केस 133. The pleading is the backbone of a suit on which the fate of the suit rests. Pleading is the first stage where a party takes up a stand in respect of fact which they plead. Now we comes to the objective and importance of pleading. Pleading assists the parties to know the facts and circumstances of the case brought against them by the adverse party, to aid the court in reaching to a fruitful conclusion. The second one is to eliminate irrelevant facts and materials that will waste the time of the court. The third one is to protect the valuable time of the people that is wasted in framing argument after every hearing. To render judicial proceeding inexpensive and approachable. The fourth one is to broadcast the issues to be tapered down on which dispute arouse to the narrow and common issue. The fifth one is, and the last one, to avoid sudden and astonishing facts from emerging in the proceeding and causing Tragedy of justice. The case law is Somerville versus Tribhuban 1934. The whole object of pleading is to narrow down the parties to define issues and thereby to reduce expense and delay. देखिए हमने ऑब्जेक्ट एंड इंपॉर्टेंस लिखे हैं प्लीडिंग की दैट इज मस्ट एंड हमने इसमें ऑब्जेक्ट के ऊपर हमने केस लॉ दे दिया केस लॉ लॉ के पेपर को डिफाइन करते हैं कि हाँ कि कम से कम अगर आपके पास कोई लेंदी क्वेश्चन है आप कम से कम 10 to 8 केस लॉज मस्ट है लिखने एंड अगर आपका छोटा क्वेश्चन है मतलब 5 मार्क्स का तो यू हैव टू राइट 2 to 3 केस लॉज मस्ट सो केस लॉज देते रहिए उस टॉपिक के आते आते ये नहीं कि आप लास्ट में लिखेंगे एक साथ केस लॉज नो ये डिफाइन नहीं करता ये आपके पेपर को और ज्यादा अट्रैक्टिव नहीं बनाता ओके तो आप उसके साथ साथ जहां उसका लिंकअप बेटर वैसे लिखते जाइए ओके नाउ वी कम्स विद द फंडामेंटल रूल्स ऑफ प्लीडिंग Order 6, Rule 2, Subclause 1 that every pleading shall contain only a statement in a concise form of the material facts on which the party pleading relies for his claim or defense, as the case may be, but not the evidence by which they are to be proved. Now, there are four basic rules of the pleading. The first one is every pleading must state facts and not law. Second one is it must state all material facts and material facts only. It must state the fact concisely. It must state only the fact on which the party pleading relies and not the evidence by which they are to be proved. Now, there are the four basic rules. Now we are going to study each and every rules in detail. Now, the first rule is that the pleading must state facts and not the law. The party to a civil suit are obliged only to state the fact and situation that happened and on which they rely in the pleading and to apply the law in the duty of the judiciary. The case law is Kedar Lal versus Hari Lal, AIR 1952, Supreme Court 47. एंड जितने भी मैंने इसमें केस लॉ मेंशन करे हैं सारे लैंडमार्क केसेस हैं ये प्लीज आप इनको मेंशन जरूर कीजिए आप इनको रट लीजिए ये आपके मतलब 9th ईयर में भी काम 9th सेमेस्टर में भी काम आएंगे और ये आपको मतलब सेकंड सेम या सेकेंड ईयर में भी मतलब आपको ये काम आएंगे द पार्टी शुड स्टेट what their claims are and why they should be granted. Implications that should not be stated. The first one is the provision of law, the second is the conclusion of law, and the third one is the conclusion of mixed law and facts. As the case goes, MT Kabutri versus Ram Prasad AIR 1934. The court must find and examine all pleas of law that may apply to the facts pleaded. The exception of it, the foreign laws, the mixed question of law and facts. Third one is the condition precedent, and the fourth one is the usage of trade. Foreign laws uh, states that a court is not bound to take judicial notice of foreign laws. Mixed question of law and fact. The question of mixed law and fact need not to be stated in the pleading, yet for the sake of clarity and convenience, they may be stated. Third one is condition precedent. It is necessary for the case of any party need not be alleged as the same shall be implied in this pleading. The fourth one is usage of trade. It should be pleaded like any other fact if party want to rely on them. Now we further move on the second basic rule that pleading should state material facts only. Rule 2, subclause 1 states that the basic rule of pleading and declare that the pleading has to state material facts and not the evidence. It requires that it must state all material facts. Every pleading must state material facts only. Facts which are not material at the time of the action should not be pleaded. The case law is Uddhav Singh versus Madhav Rao, Supreme Court of India, AIR 1976, Supreme Court 744. The Supreme Court observed that all the primary facts which have been proved at the trial by a party to establish the existence of a case of action or his defense are material facts, as this case law defined the material fact. The exception of the second basic rule is the content of document, presumption of law, and third one is matter of inducement. Now we are going to deal with the third basic rule. Fact should be stated in concise form, means that the brief fact that explain the details of the case in short. It is also called the rule of brevity. It requires that the pleading are short, unambiguous, and not capable of multiple interpretation, but only one interpretation that the pleader desires to convey. The case law is Virendra Kashinath versus Vinayak N. Joshi. The court observed that the pleading must be in brief and niggling should be avoided. However, it does not mean that essential facts need to be omitted in the attempt to achieve brevity. Fourth basic rule is that pleading should not state the evidence. The pleading should not contain the evidence as distinguished from the fact themselves. The kinds of facts, the material fact and the evidence, the facts by means by which they are to be proved. Now, the pleading should contain only facta probanda and not facta probantia. They are not the fact in issue, but only relevant facts required at the trial in order to establish the fact in issue. The case is Phillips versus Phillips in 1879 for QBD 127. The evidence were allowed to be stated in the pleading. Then there shall remain no limits of detail, and the chief object of pleading would disappear. The exception is that the rule of pleading is to be found in case of the writ petition and election petition. In such petition, not only the facts are to be pleaded, but also the evidence in proof of such facts have to be annexed to it. Now, what is amendment of pleading? Order 6, Rule 17 of CPC provides that the court may at any stage of the proceeding allow either party to alter or amend his pleading. In the case J. Samuel and others versus Gattal Mahesh and others 2012 to CTC 94, the Supreme Court held that the primary aim of the court is to try the case on its merit and ensure that the rules of justice prevail. Amendment of pleading, when granted, this grants of leave should not lead to the prejudice to the other party. The amendment of pleading is necessary for ascertaining the issue between the parties when the application of amendment is filed to avoid multiplicity of suits. When parties in the plaint or written statement wrongly described. The case law Kisan Das, Roopchand and others versus Rachappa Vithoba Silwant. The Bombay High Court that all amendments ought to be allowed which satisfy the Two conditions. The first one is of not working in justice to the other side, of being necessary for the justice of determining the real question. When amendment of pleading refused, in the case Guruswamy Gounder versus Muthuswamy Gounder and others in the year 1999, 3 MLJ 379, the court held that in this sense what the plaintiff wants to raise, and if the amendment is allowed, it is amount to allowing the plaintiff to withdraw the admission which he already made. Now, we are going to understand what is written statement. Written statement is a pleading of the defendant in the answer of the plaint filed by the plaintiff against him. It is the reply statement of the defendant in a suit, especially denying the allegation made against him by the plaintiff in his plaint. The written statement has not been defined in the code. In the case Rachappa versus Guru Sidappa, AIR 1989, Supreme Court 635. The Supreme Court categorically stated that the term "written statement" is a term of specific connotation signifying a reply to the plaint filed by the defendant. The defendant written defense or pleading is called written statement. Order 8 of CPC provides for a filing of return statement. The particular to be contained with return statement are particulars to be contained therein, and the same manner of doing so. It contains 10 rules. The Rule 1 of Order 8 deals with that the defendant shall within 30 days from the date of service of summons on him present a written statement of his defense. In the case Salim Advocate Bar Association versus Union of India, AIR 2005, Supreme Court 3353, the court held that the court may allow the defendant to file the return statement even after the expiry of 90 days, but it can be extended only in exceptional hard cases. The court should not exercise such discretion in a routine manner. Rule 2 of Order 8 deals with that the defendant must raise by his pleading all matters which show the suit not to be maintained. Rule 3, 4, and 5 of Order 7, the three fundamental rules as to denials in the case Bhadat and Company versus East India Trading Company, AIR 1964, Supreme Court 438. The Supreme Court has held that these three rules form an integrated course dealing with the manner in which allegation of fact in the plaint should be traversed and the legal consequences flowing from its non-compliance. Denial must be specific. Rule 3 of Order 8 deals with that the defendant must deal specifically with each allegation of fact in the plaint, and when a defendant denies any fact, he must do so clearly and boldly. Denial must not be evasive. Rule 4 of Order 8 deals with that where a defendant denies an allegation of fact in a plaint, he must not do so evasively but answer the point of substance. Specific denial. Rule 5 of Order 8 deals with that every allegation of fact in the plaint, if not denied specifically stated to be not admitted in the pleading of the defendant, shall be taken to be admitted except or against a person under disability. Section 7 of Order 8 deals with the separate ground that the defendant, which relies upon several distinct grounds of defense or set off or counterclaim, they are to be stated as far as possible separately and distinctly. New ground deals with the rule 8, 9, 10 of order 8, that the rule 8 of order 8 deals with that any ground of defense which has arisen after the institution of the suit or the preservation of the written statement claiming a set off may the raised by the defendant or plaintiff in his written statement. Rule 9 of Order 8 deals with that the no pleading subsequent to the written statement of the defendant can be prohibited except with the leave of the court. The last rule, the Rule 10 of Order 8, deals with that when a party is required to file his return statement and he fails to do so, return the prescribed period. Okay, now we have a deal with the plaint, pleading, and the return statement. They are the three most important topic of CPC. So, if you are going to write an answer in the in the answer sheet, so these things or these matters should be included to attain a good mark. सो आपको एक फॉर्मेट भी पता चल गया होगा कि आपको कैसे आंसर को फॉर्म करना है, कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है कि हाँ आपको अच्छे मार्क्स मिले एंड एग्जामिनर आपके मार्क्स डिडक्ट ना कर पाए. सो एक फॉर्मेट होता है कि हाँ एक लॉ के पेपर में आपको कैसे, बिकॉज सारे सब्जेक्ट में नॉर्मल तरीके से तुम अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो बट लॉ के पेपर में तुम्हें कुछ अच्छे तरीके से एंड कुछ नए तरीके से अपना आंसर फ्रेम करना होता है बिकॉज लॉ इज अ प्रोफेशनल कोर्स. ओके, सो बी सीरीज. अगर आपको कोई भी टॉपिक पे नोट्स चाहिए तो आपको कमेंट में मेंशन कीजिए. आई एम ऑल्सो लॉ स्टूडेंट, तो आपको हर एक टॉपिक पे नोट्स मिलेंगे. ओके, स्टे होम, स्टे सेफ, गुड बाय एंड थैंक यू.